Hello, welcome to Good Work Now, your show for finding and creating good work. Today we're going to talk about volunteering for your personal and professional development. And in honor of the show, I would like to thank the volunteers on this show today. Our director is Daniel Lorenzo. He's been with me on this show since we started back in February. And also on camera number 1 is Molly Lynch. And behind me on camera 3 is Marge McCreary. And they're all volunteers, and I also volunteer on this show, and there's a surge in volunteering right now in America, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about what are the benefits, both personally and professionally, for volunteering. And one of the benefits I can share with my own situation is by volunteering on this project, producing and moderating the show, because it's given me such joy and passion and energy, that is spilling over into my day job with the City of Sacramento and also my part-time teaching job with the University of San Francisco. So it's not like when you volunteer, you're just doing it with that particular company or that particular group. There's spillover effects where it can benefit your whole being and your other activities in your life. So there's a lot more, I think, to volunteering than what maybe we often think about. I am very pleased to welcome to our show today Mary Lynn Perry. Mary Lynn is the coordinator for the City of Sacramento's award-winning volunteer program, and she's author of the book Get Involved, a how-to volunteer guide for parents, teachers, and youth. And I'll make sure we have that on the screen. Mary Lynn, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And let's start with gaining new skills. What has been some of your experiences with volunteers gaining new skills?
Well, I think that a lot of people come into a volunteer experience looking maybe to switch a career. We have a lot of folks who come in sort of mid-career point looking at, gee, I really kind of always wanted to do X, whatever it happens to be. And I'm thinking about that maybe as my retirement job, so I want to get started now and find out a little more about it. So there are a lot of people who will come in and just try something out to see how it fits them, either for future employment or, part-time job.
There's always a percentage of viewers probably watching that have maybe been laid off.
Sure.
Or they're in a job that is a dead-end job, or they're not fulfilled in that current job. So by being a volunteer, you can get yourself into a new area. Like, for example, our director, if I can speak for our director, Daniel, he works in the retail industry, but he's trying to break more into the communications industry, so he volunteers here to get the skills he wants, and he's an excellent director, by the way. And so he's definitely sharpening his craft and while being a volunteer. So the volunteerism can be a path to change your career.
Sure, and when one of the projects I do is the tax program, the VITA tax program, which we have, the city runs totally with volunteers. I'm the only paid staff person at all. And one of the things that we have is people coming in who are interested in gaining knowledge about taxes to go on for different reasons. I've had students coming out of college who needed work experience, who had all the background in accounting and this and that, but in terms of actual real-world experience working with numbers and clients, they really didn't have any. So they were coming in and volunteering as a tax preparer in order to get that kind of experience, and then I would be one of their references, of course. Other people have been going on to law school, and so they were taking on a leadership role. They might be one of the people coordinating one of the sites for me, and they wanted to be able to show that on their application to law school because they're working with tax law. So there are different ways that you can look at volunteering and using those skills and gaining more skills and just opening the door to future employment.
And I think potential employers, when they're looking at your resume and they see the kinds of how you package your resume with your skills, they're not differentiating, it's unpaid or paid. A skill is a skill. It's a skill. You have it or you don't, right? I imagine, too, one of the other benefits of being a volunteer is that you get to meet new people.
Oh, definitely.
New relationships are being formed. And I think one of the things that happens, particularly with baby boomers or people who are retiring, is that suddenly all those relationships during the daylight hours are gone. Not only am I not using the skills that I've been using for 30 years, my identity is suddenly gone, but the relationships are gone. I'm not having that daily social interaction or intellectual stimulation. Any thoughts about how volunteerism can open the door to like professional networks or social networks that can, or career-related networks?
I think it is just another form of networking, really.
Okay.
I mean, I think that it's another aspect of it, because certainly if you're able to volunteer in some way that's related to your future employment, you're meeting people all the time.
That's right.
that can serve as, they can tell you about jobs in the field, because you know how it is. Somebody tells you about a job way before you see it advertised anywhere. You may have to wait for it to actually be advertised to apply, but you've probably heard about it from somebody in your field a month ahead of it. So that's something that if you're just volunteering in an organization or with a group that's related to a career path in some way, you'll often hear about work.
Actually, we had a prior guest was talking about a statistic that 65% or so of the jobs that you hear about are the unposted ones. That it's through these networks or the relationships that you form that you hear about. I think it's frustrating for folks when they have a passion, they want to be a writer, but they're not a writer, and then that can be very oppressive. I think not having a place to put that energy anywhere.
Definitely, it's a way to use your skills that may not be related to what your general job is, because sometimes you have a lot of skills, and some of them you use at your job, and some of them you don't.
Let's talk about solving community issues. And you mentioned that the benefit not just for the person volunteering, but also the organization or the community. But like the rebuilding of the Thomas.
That one of our playgrounds.
Right, which happened a couple times.
It has.
The passion to sustain that a couple times, is phenomenal. So, what are your thoughts about how the community benefits from volunteers?
I think we do tackle a lot of big issues, and I think we're going to be tackling more. I think that's one of the things that President Obama is really pushing too, is that the government is only going to be able to do so much, even with the stimulus and all this other stuff that we're all trying to do. The government can only do what it can do, and then citizens just simply have to take it further. So we are all going to have to look at how do we solve some of these big issues that are out there.
Let's now segue into where people can go. Let's say that there's some viewers out there who have a passion, that they want to get job skills, they want to get some experience, they want to build a resume, they want to give back to the community, whatever the reason. Where can folks go to explore the options out there?
There's several places.
Okay.
One of them, of course, is the city. So we have our own website, so they can go on the city's website. Should I say
yes,
that?
let's go ahead.
Let's go ahead and get
and it's www.cityofsacramento.org /volunteers.
Right.
Okay.
That's ours. But then there's also the Volunteer Center, which is another agency in town that we published the book with that I wrote, and they've also done a directory for youth of different opportunities. So they deal with both adults as well as with youth, and that's www.volunteersac.org.
Okay. Definitely we'll get that up
these
there
web
too.
pages. And then there's also Hands-On Sacramento, which started out primarily working with these done-in-a-day type of projects where you come and do something for the morning and then you're done. And then they've blossomed into a full volunteer center as well. So that's www.handsonsacto.org.
Sacto.org. Okay.
Yeah, so that's Hands-On Sacramento. And then there's national pages as well, which includes volunteermatch.org.
Okay.
That's a national one, which is also a lot of the agencies here do list on. So those are some options. And then, of course, the mayor has an initiative, too, Mayor Johnson, that he's started. And he's been trying to encourage everybody in Sacramento to do at least 10 hours of service. It's www.volunteersac.com.
I want to thank you so much for being on the show, Mary Lynn. This has
you.
been a very interesting exploration of volunteerism. There's so much. Thank you so much for watching, and keep up the good work.